kick the show off right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here with me, cause
It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight.
let's get the topic straight, let's get things good, let's do everything that we should.
It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right.
Let's open our minds and take out our style. Let's see what's going on in the world tonight.
It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right.
Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? This is your boy Tick for Project Open Mic. Thank you for joining us once again this Thursday on another new topic. Let's put my face on the screen. Hope you guys are doing well. It's been a crazy couple weeks. This week itself. But again, I want to thank you guys for giving me your time, your ear, your mind, and listening to what's going on. Tonight's show, we'll be talking about basically how, again, one of my conversations, I have many videos upon this, but why a lot of people got swept up into this the environment thing. Yes, we have one planet, we have one Earth. Let's take care of it. I am not against it. Against solar, I got solar panels on my roof. I have no problem against electric cars and all that stuff. But the problem is, though, a lot of people are feeding a lot of these elites, whatever. You'll find out they're feeding a lot of these young people a bag full of fairy dust. That's why I call it. That's why I call tonight's show what it is. There's a bag full of fairy dust, and they just think it's just whimsical and it's great. I'm happy that when I was young, I had a sarcasm gene from the get-go. Like, I'm skeptic of sarcasm. I'm skeptic of a lot of stuff. Like, I gotta see to believe it. And then when and see how, that's why I've done many shows like this in the past. You can go to Project Over Mic on YouTube. You can see down there. Project Over on YouTube. You go catch past shows where I talk about the electric thing and how they're feeding the young folks and feeding a lot of people these fairy dreams because they don't really care about you. They just want you to be a useful idiot to vote in a lot of stupid stuff. Which once again, as usual, I'll prove again tonight. All right, you can catch Project Open Mic if you're on YouTube. Subscribe, share, hit the like button to know when we go live again. We go live on Thursday and Fridays on YouTube for the live shows as well for the side chat, and then of course the Wednesdays is a different thing, and we'll try to keep the schedule going in that regard. We have not had a consistent schedule. I know that this for me has been a crazy trying to do stuff together, but. If you're on Project Open Mic on YouTube, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Share out not only this content, but share out Andre's mic. Share out Dr. Feelgood's philosophy. Of course, Straight No Chasers is another one you can share out. If that's not the case and you watch it on Tempo FM, thank you. Remember, share it on Tempo FM. If you're on Twitch, share it on Twitch. If you're on Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, hey, we're there. Check us out, listen, share the content, help us grow the YouTube channel, the Twitch channel, everything. Just help us out as best as you can. And again, I have no problem if you think that you have a strong case for what I'm saying is not right or wrong, whatever. Hey, I welcome you on I welcome on your show. We could do a special show to talk about a lot of stuff that's going on and see how we're relative to this. With that said, again, remember, you can catch it all. There's links in the description for most places like Facebook, YouTube, Tempo FM, Spotify. Like I said, if you want to check out Spotify, you want to use this data, check out Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, Google Podcasts. And of course, if you want to see video, you can see the video on Spotify, but also Nico Live now, You Live, Tempo FM, Facebook, Twitch. You know the deal. All right. With that said, and that's going on. Let's get into today's content. Like I said before, so right now I could be talking about a lot of other stuff. President Biden has passed. I don't think it's passed, but I'm keeping an eye on it. It's gonna be. I want to do a little video of that next week. If nothing comes up crazy next week, I'll hit about the student debt. I've hit it about it a couple of times, but we're gonna see on that. I want to dedicate that show to itself to a degree and see if I could push that about education, students, and all this stuff. That's what I want to do. It's one, two. Right now, also there's more stimulus checks going out to mostly blue states, which I'm not surprised because that that didn't help inflation to get what it is right now. And again, to point out the way to cancel some of these debt is still is going to create more inflation, but people don't. Like I said before, they do not care. So why should I even bother? But I'm going to tell people out there, it's going to create more inflation. Oh, sorry that I have a proven record of making showing that hey, when things gonna happen, surprisingly happen. So we'll go with that regard for now. We're gonna show that again. I saw an article and I was like, that's bullcrap. An article said that there's no place on the planet you would get clean water. I'm like, why are you guys doing this? Why are you guys doing it? Yes, there are places in the earth you will get clean water, okay? It's not that crazy, but people I don't like how they keep on pushing this narrative. You can get clean water in other parts of the world. I don't get it why they're pushing that narrative. Right now, yes, a lot of people have experienced some hot summers this summer that's coming by. In some cities, people are like, oh, this is the hottest summer on record. In some cities, not all places. Right now, again, I've stated before, we got China doing overseeing of clouds in their area to get rain. That does not affect only China. That affects a lot the world globe. But again, I don't see nobody talking about it. Nobody else to say, "Oh, that's a bad idea." No, nobody want to talk about it. Right now, we have also like again, we got a lot of debris and everything going in the air because of the Ukraine and Russia war. Again, nobody wants to talk about that part of it, but oh yeah, global this and all this stuff. We're getting rid of nuclear powers. We're cutting down coal plants. We're trying to get more. We gotta spend a lot of money to get more batteries and all that stuff. Which again, when the batteries cells are dead or something happened to the batteries, what you gonna do? Their company in China is gonna try to bring electric cars over here that you don't rent the battery. You buy the car, but you on a what do you call it again? You're on a subscribe model, which I'm starting to hate the subscribe model for a lot of things. Subscription model. I just not everything needs to be a damn subscription, and it's gonna get to a point where, given like what's the comedian Earthquake? Earthquake was like, yeah, when he said, "Man, I might need to you gotta pay to breathe in air." They're gonna get the elites will get to a point where they're gonna make you feel like you have to breathe in. Just you want to breathe in air? You gotta pay $12 a month just to breathe in clean air. They'll get to that point. Even they'll fake it for y'all and do what they gotta do because they don't care about you. They just see the money and also they feel away that because they're high in society that they don't. They're like, oh, we're gonna eat the foie gras, the beef, or whatever. While you guys to save the world, you guys should eat bugs. Not happening, the captain. I ain't doing that. So, in this situation, let's see. How should I go with this? How should because I want to put it to the point of showing. Let's see. Should I go with? Let's go with the elites. So here's a report from the car coach talk about the elites. They don't want you to have they don't want you to have the right to own your house. They don't want you to have the right to own your car. And that's what I say. If they keep, and they're talking about this like widely, widely out in the open because they don't care. They don't want you to have no meat. They say you should eat bugs, which is again, I swear all these questions are so stupid. Look, yes, cows cause methane gas with their farts. I understand it. I get that. I could control a herd of bugs. I can't control millions of bugs. That what if they ever get loose or something happens? What would happen to the environment? Like they don't think this out. That's one thing about humans. Again, we're infallible. I hate that we try to pretend to be God. It is annoying. It is super annoying. Because when we mess up, we're like, oh well, we didn't foresee that, whatever. No, you made a mistake. That is foreseen, and we should have not done it. Because a lot of you guys think, like I said, you think fairy dust, but you do not think, oh wow, this is a bad idea, or let's think it out fully. Nope, that's not the case. That's definitely not the case. That's not what you guys be talking about. So let's just get into the group of like I said, let me show you what the what the elites want us to do.
Welcome back to Car Coach Reports. I'm Lauren Fix. The World Economic Forum wants you to give up your car, truck, or SUV. They want car ownership to be outlawed because the Great Reset is about control and tightening the grip on your freedom.
Yep. And that is so true.
They ask if your car is really necessary. The World Economic Forum doesn't think so. The WEF has published a paper that calls for the end of wasteful private car ownership.
Wasteful car ownership, huh? Okay. Remember, these are the same people who are trying to, who will, again, fly their private jets. It's like, oh, you guys should not be doing gas cars and stuff, but these are the ones who fly private jets, their own limo with one person in there, have multiple bodyguards. You should not have guns, but we have a bodyguards. Like, they're just so full of, there's just a bunch of losers, just simply just crazy.
You piece of loser.
That's what they are.
In favor of communal sharing to lessen global demands for precious metals and fossil fuels.
Are they going to share the limos with us? I doubt that.
The unelected elites in Geneva, Switzerland claim that too many people own private vehicles for the planet's good. They claim that most are barely driven, and a universal model that will take consumers from owning to using their cars is the way forward. They state that the average car or van in England is driven only 4% of the time.
So if it's driven only 4% of the time, what's the problem? It's kind of like, okay, if you drove 50%, you see more problem, but it's only 4% of the time by their numbers. So it's like, okay, so let the people do what they want to do. That's they own it, they got it. That's what it is.
Even though they want to control the entire planet, this is what they're stating. Instead of having vehicles sit idle, sell your car and walk or share, because car sharing platforms have already seized that opportunity to offer vehicles where you pay by the hour used. Now, this was found to be completely unsuccessful in the US, especially during the pandemic.
Nani? Really? It was unsuccessful, baby, because we don't want to be with, not many people want to be around a lot of people. Just saying. Including, it's even more unsuccessful in the cities because, again, you got a lot of stuff to do. And that's one of the reasons I moved away from the cities. City life is horrible.
I'm sure you remember. To end private ownership is essential, according to the WEF, and can be applied to everything from cars to private homes. And
see what I say? private homes. They don't want you to own no property. They don't want you to own no house. They want you to rent everything while they make the money. Man, these guys are a-holes.
Even citywide design principles. They're showing their true cards. The WEF states that this is fundamental to this transition. In quotes, this is the mindset needed to redesign cities to reduce private vehicles and other usages. The WEF is not alone in seeing an almost criminal culpability to anyone who owns a vehicle for private use. Except for them, of course. The International Energy Agency, or IEA, has directed global governments to urgently cut oil supply to domestic consumers and encourage compliance with its calls for lower consumption by nudging people out of their private vehicles.
The balls of these people. Okay, so cut down, so we cut off oil to other countries. Oh, that's a good thing. Oh, what will happen to that if that ever happens? I don't know, maybe war, maybe famine, maybe again a global pandemic, not a disease, but the prices of goods go up. Oh my goodness, these guys, they want people to be poor except for them. That's what the problem is.
The IEA 10-point plan to drive changes in behavior of consumers to reduce gasoline demand at the pump includes reducing speed limits, working from home 3 days a week, more electric cars, car-free Sundays, more bicycle lanes, cheaper public transportation, and greater use of long-distance trains over planes. This is a very elitist thought process and removes your ability to get to places efficiently and quickly.
Exactly. So I gotta go to a train and still gotta take a taxi to get where I gotta go get. Then if I want to go out get some of the food, I gotta go to the hotel and gotta go to get some food, I gotta go wait a taxi to come again. And again, they already done pushing this to the generation Z, and the younger millennials, because they don't buy cars as much as as the older millennials like me or parents do. They have bought less cars. They say, oh, why would I do that when I could share? Why would I do that? And again, young ones, listen, we just came out of a pandemic. See what happened. If the person cannot go, if the restaurant can't get people, then it was shut down. If the people can't drive your food to home, what you gonna do? Some of y'all don't even know how to cook. That will be a problem. You'll starve. You'll be in problem. You'll starve. It's gonna be crazy in the cities, and we already don't see people don't riot it. People don't doing horrible things in the city. So you got that going on.
Drivers in Ireland have already been warned they'll be forced off the roads and the population packed into high-density cities under a climate plan which will revolutionize people's lifestyles and behaviors.
What the fuck?
So they want you to pack you into a city with a lot of people where you can't do and you can't own nothing. So when the S hit the fan and you lost power, earthquake, volcano, something happens, people are just crammed on top of each other. Oh, that's a recipe for fun. That's a recipe for fun. And they're gonna force you to do that?
I'm sure it will. This all as people are fleeing big cities, especially in the US.
Exactly.
In order to avert this new agenda called climate apocalypse, love these terms, they want government to force people out of private cars because they are the biggest offenders of emissions, with proposals that include banning fossil fuel vehicles from towns and cities.
We'll get to that, which is again, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Nationwide to intentionally cripple ordinary motorists, per the reports. How lovely. I'm sure you've got some thoughts on that.
Oh, yes.
So here's the bottom line. So are the elitists going to give up their private jets, travel by bicycle? No. Will they use mass transit? Of course they aren't. Will the World Economic Forum members, who are all elitists, it will never be in that position, they are driven by chauffeurs that are gas-powered with one passenger per vehicle. As for their study, if cars are truly only driven 4% of the time, they can't be causing that much pollution. I bet they didn't think through that one.
Thank you. That's what I thought when I heard that too. It's like, if it's 4%, that should be a problem.
Did you? In addition to this, the impact to the global economy of reducing auto sales will crush businesses, jobs, and countries' financial positions.
That's what I just stated.
The auto industry is a big part of Germany, and it's half of the Dow Jones. But no worries, they will control all the money too. Will you let the WEF control your freedom to drive your vehicle? Once they start walking themselves and taking mass transit, which they never will, then this is true, pure hypocrisy. I call BS to anyone who foolishly goes along with these absurd ideas.
Well, you're a smart woman, but now we gotta go to let's show you the stupidity that comes from. Oh, wait a minute, a governor, this moron, and he wants to be the president of the United States.
What? What the fuck?
No, he don't. He would never get my vote. Never get my vote if he would run for president. Cause he's run his state crappily. He was bad with the pandemic. He's bad with economics. He's bad with the water. I will show you proof. Right now he's gonna be bad with the cars and electricity because again, his wife, of course, got money from the electric companies, even though they're supposed to be out there fixing power wires and cutting down lines so they don't stop forest fires and do control burns. And once in a while, the control burn does go crazy. I'll admit to that because that one happened this year. But still, this is literally fairy dust thinking. This is literally what the elites think. And again, young people, do not become useful idiots. Do not let these slick talking people tell you, oh, we're doing the best, whatever. No, they're not. Look around you. Well, I gotta look around. I will show you. But let's hear. This is now this. Here's this stupid claim.
Serious initiatives California state has ever advanced in its history.
We're not advancing. California will phase out new gas-powered cars by 2035, while of course Biden wants it to be 2030.
The smash-mouth realities of climate change are self-evident to anyone that lives in California. To deny climate change, visit the state of California. And that
exactly. You know what, Governor? I agree with you. You're correct. If you want to see stupidity of the climate change of people who control it like this moron, go to California. Again, I'll show you. That's what's gonna. He's correct. Go to California, you see it. I don't deny climate change because the climate never stays the same. So it's climate change, yeah. But your dogma, stupid rules ain't helping nothing. You're making it worse. Like I said, the old saying: droughts are caused by caused by nature. Famine are caused by people, mostly government.
Why we're moving forward to require a mandate that 100% of the vehicles in the state of California in 15 years, 100% have to be zero-emission vehicles.
There's no such thing as zero-emission vehicles. It's so stupid and asinine. It ain't that. It's stupid. Now this is a leftist organization, so that's why I'm playing their videos. So you could hear the foo-foo thing that they talk in their life. I will go back and do a news report, but this is just crazy. There's no such thing as zero emissions. There ain't. They're not.
All the existing internal combustion engines can be sold only on the secondary market, used market. We're not going to take your cars away, but
No, but you're gonna hurt the economy. Well, you're not gonna be the governor of that state by that time, so you don't care.
we are going to increase the number of choices by advancing and accelerating innovation.
I got a question, Governor. You guys have rolling blackouts, so if the power's gone, how am I gonna charge my car?
You piece of loser.
In the zero emissions sector, we're done with internal combustion engines.
Such thing. Gavin Newsom policy comes amid the unprecedented year of environmental consequences in California. They were exacerbated by carbon emissions from human activity. Basically, like I said, that's what elites want to do. You filthy humans. You filthy poor people. You should not be having choices and doing things your own. Listen to us. We are the elites. We can tell you how to live your life.
3.6 million acres have burned to date so far this year. It's unprecedented in California's history.
Yeah, half of it is because you didn't do what you're supposed to do. PG&E did not cut the trees, so electric cars gonna happen. And again, stop building in places and not set up for the real thing, because it's like you guys are so environmentalists, but then you don't do the stuff that needs to be done. You do not regulate, and because of my job, I know this. You don't regulate the land, so if if a fire comes through, that hey, maybe we should not build these houses in certain places. It's California. It gets hot sometimes. So we should maybe, I don't know, cut down and pull away some of these dry tinders. So if things happen, because again, what are you going to do against lightning? Lightning's a problem too? If lightning causes fire, we got a problem with that too?
Entire calendar year last year, 277,000 acres burned, 3.6, almost 3.7 million acres burned as I speak to you.
And some of that was gonna be burned by nature anyway.
27 major wildfire complexes currently in the state of California. Over 1,100 fire starts in the last 6 weeks after an unprecedented 14,000 lightning strikes.
As I said before, because yes. Joe Biden is like we played the last show. I played with Joe Biden said he wants to control the weather. That's again, why do humans think that they could do this stuff? And I say humans in general, but these politicians, no, you can't. Unprecedented force. So it's okay. Lightning happens, Mr. Governor. So you're gonna do stop the lightning when you be Thor? Got a hammer? Stop it? What are you gonna do?
Over a 72-hour period. The hottest August in recorded history. The hottest temperature ever recorded in world history.
No, it ain't. That's a lie. Don't even go there with that crap.
130 degrees in California. This is without precedent in our history.
Yes, it
is.
The
reality of climate change is here. A 5-year drought we just got out of.
And you could have prevented, because again, nature created droughts. You and your former Governor Jerry Brown created a famine because they told you to.
You piece of loser.
To create reservoirs. Okay, so it's because a lot of people are moving to California. Most of them is illegals, but that's the case. But you didn't do it, and you're surprised. Now the lakes and stuff. Well, don't forget. Remember the dam I showed you guys 3 episodes ago? That because the water. It's funny part about it. When the water was there and you needed the water, they told you to fix the dams. You didn't fix the dams, so the dam broke. The dams broke, so all that water gone. Now that you need the water, because human error, because government don't do their job. They tax the hell out of you, and they don't put the money towards fixing the issues they always do. They want to keep the issues there so they can say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Fix the issue. If I don't hear nobody say fix the issue, like it's just like what Joe Biden said, we're going to create a cure for cancer.
No, son of a bitch!
You ain't. And if you do, there's multiple forms of cancer. I'm not against that the president wants to create cancer, but that's a bold statement to say. And he, as you can see, he brought down the economy from the brink of basically nothing's going on right now.
That left behind 163 dead trees in its wake. All of that requires us to double down on what we're doing to detoxify, to decarbonize our economy. And that's why we're accelerating the most significant initiative the state has ever advanced to accelerate our efforts to decarbonize our transportation sector, which represents over 50% of our greenhouse gas emissions.
Gavin Newsom said that Trump administration will likely propose a new policy. Trump officially had to roll back at least 100 environmental rules. Yeah, because we was gas independent. We didn't need Oh, wait a minute. Gas prices was cheap again. I remember the good days when it was $1.75. That was that? Let me see. $1.75. Oh man, those were the good old days. That was 2010, right? No. Now, you gotta be talking about the early 90s, right? No, that was $1.75 from in my state of North Carolina where I was getting gas. 2019, and we was energy independent. We didn't need nobody's energy. And continue to spread climate denying its rhetoric.
I think most of the pushback will come from more from the status quo ante of a Trump administration that frankly wants to not only hold the line in innovation, but actually in many respects wants to put us back to 19th century thinking.
19th century thinking. You have rolling blackouts in your state, sir. What are you talking about? Power was straight. Now you got 19th century. You mean the 18th century? No power at no place.
When it comes to climate, I expect a tweet within 24 hours of me signing the executive order. I expect the usual pablum. Somehow we're taking away something from people, or we're denying people choice. When in fact, we're accelerating innovation.
No, you ain't.
We're accelerating economic growth.
No, you
we're
ain't.
Creating more manufacturing jobs. We're creating more.
Wait. Didn't Tesla move from California to Texas? So did Toyota. Manufacturing jobs. A lot of states are moving to other places. Hell, even a dump, even waste management, which is to do waste and all this to handle trash, move from California because California is too full of crap.
Green collar jobs. We're addressing environmental justice. We're addressing health costs and health risks.
No, you ain't.
So we're not only reducing greenhouse gas emissions,
but you guys still have the most smoggiest city in the country. It puzzles me how people look at this. You have the dirtiest waters. You have the dirtiest river waters. You have the dirtiest smog. You have the dirtiest streets where people literally is walking and pooping in the streets, that you had to create an app to tell you where to avoid the poop. This is progressive? What the hell?
We're reducing healthcare costs.
That's a big lie, and I debunked that a couple shows back. No, you're not. I'm ready to embrace this zero shift mission. There's no such thing as zero shift mission.
What's remarkable is Bill Ford and Ford, some of the largest manufacturers of automobiles in the world that happen to be American manufacturers, they're already deeply invested in the future.
Yeah. Go on and see what's going on. Go and see all the recalls on the Ford Marquis and the Lightning and the Bronco. They're doing a swimmingly good job.
And in zero emission vehicles. This is
there's
not
there's no such thing as that.
Automobile manufacturers. To me, it's not a sacrifice at all.
I wish you could stop saying that, because there's no such thing as that. There's no zero emissions. I remember when I first started hearing that, I was like, okay, but I was like, but wait, it takes energy. It takes dirty energy to create the cars. It takes dirty energy to get most of the critical materials for the cars. And it's not running off of solar and wind power. It's running off of coal burning power. So where the hell he get his information from?
To be globally competitive. If
what?
American manufacturers do not commit to zero emissions, they're not going to be able to sell their cars globally. They're not.
Oh, they're not going to be able to sell their cars in China. You mean the same China that's right now building more and more electric plants? Coal plants. The same one that are basically have cities they built and they abandoned, which is leave more of a carbon footprint than anything because they're not being used.
Not going to be able to sell their cars in China, in India, in Israel.
And in Israel, yes, they're going to sell their cars.
In Ireland, that are also committed to similar goals that California is advancing. So this is about strengthening our competitiveness, encouraging more manufacturing jobs.
You're losing manufacturing jobs right now, Gavin. are projected to be more cheaper than those fuel vehicles by 2000. Yeah, okay, whatever.
I think the socioeconomic realities are the imperative of doing this. We're seeing price parity come into play. We're within 5 years of seeing price parity on electric vehicles. This is a 15-year goal. By that time, there'll be more choices, more opportunities to advance new technologies, not just electric vehicles, but other zero-emission technologies that will substantially advance poor and underserved communities. For one,
okay, I would love to see that. Let me see the people who are on welfare go buy themselves a Tesla. Oh, let's be honest, a Ford. So they're gonna have enough money. They can't afford houses. They're gonna have the power. They're gonna have the buying power to buy a $30,000 car. Okay, that's how we're gonna do it, Gavin.
reason. The cost of maintaining those cars is much lower.
Not really. Go to Scotty Kilmer on YouTube. He is the biggest car guy on YouTube. He has gotten to, I think he said 4 billion views today. He will tell you the truth about a lot of that stuff. Not really. Because a lot of you gotta do, you're doing less maintenance. Yes. But I've said it before. Those cars use coolant. Electric cars, you gotta keep that coolant clean. You gotta keep it. You gotta change it up. And if some miracle of a mess up that you get a bad battery or a cell degrades, it's gonna cost 10, 15, depending on the car. On the lowest end, it will cost $10,000 to change the battery. So I hope you guys have $10,000 to change your battery.
And the cost of fueling those cars is much, much lower.
It's lower now until you bastards start taxing the electricity like you tax the gas. California has the highest gas tax in the nation. And they have the highest gas prices in the nation because of the highest gas tax in the nation. So you think they're gonna give up their revenue? Hell no. They're gonna tax the heck out of electricity when it's more stuff. Again, once the grid gets to somewhere good. Again, we know the grid ain't there because again we have rolling blackouts.
Gas pump. You don't have to deal with the vagaries of our geopolitical realities with foreign governments that
How about we drill for our own oil?
Manipulate international oil markets.
How about we drill for our own oil like we did before?
So we're going to reduce the operating costs.
That's a
We're
lie.
going to create more choice, lower costs across the spectrum for the actual vehicles, and that's already taking shape.
Now this y'all are so full of crap. Zero
It's
combination.
one thing to have nice goals, which begin the process of transitioning from internal combustion engines to have 5% of your fleet.
Remember this fool. You know what? I'm not. I hope you'll be using electric, Gavin, for your for your farm and for your vineyards, for your winery. I hope you're using all electric stuff. I doubt that.
Away with a great deal.
I doubt you're doing that. I know you ain't. Because again, remember, you close down everybody else's farms, but you still could do it.
Gas-powered cars in the past. Well, a major vote today could turn the Golden State electric. CBS News' Cara Finstrom is live in Valley Village with more on the bold plan to fight climate change. Good morning, Cara.
Good morning, Rachel. Right now, public hearing still underway with the board listening to many folks. But their hope is that in the future, most folks will be heading to filling stations like this one and putting electricity into their cars instead of gas.
I hope not, because again, 45 minutes to a couple hours, they better figure out a way to make. And the thing about it is a double-edged sword, which most of these swords are. If you look at your phones, if you fast charge a battery, it brings down the life cycles. If you slow charge it, it lasts longer. But most people don't want to stay in there. The fastest fast charge is 45 minutes, maybe 35 minutes that I've seen with Tesla, and their ones are more private. That's not happening at the government level. So what the heck? And again, majority of people who are in apartments and who are renting and in apartments and stuff like that, what are they gonna do with their electric cars? They're gonna be fighting with each other just to get to charge their cars so they're gonna go to work. It's an asinine thinking, but
Californians have long had a love affair with their cars. The question now, will that feeling become electric?
This is a historic moment for California, for our partner states, and for the world as we set forth this path towards a zero-emission future.
State regulators are expected to approve a revolution.
I gotta ask the question, do anybody understand what zero emissions really mean? Because we're not getting it. But whatever.
Revolutionary plan that would ban the sale of new gas-powered vehicles by 2035. Under it, the goals would be phased in over 13 years. For example, 35% of new vehicles sold in California would need to be powered by batteries or hydrogen by 2026. Californians would be able to sell or continue using previously owned gas cars.
We need to all contribute more to the climate, and that is going to help, hopefully.
No.
And I just hope they make it more affordable.
Michelle Kramer
Hey lady, China, India puts out more pollutants than you could ever think of. They're not following this nonsense.
supports the ban, but she's still filling up a gas car because she says electric cars are too expensive, even with state and federal incentives.
That's what I said when Gavin said about, oh, the poor people. Who's gonna buy what now?
We're so used to change our own oil or having mechanics do our work for us, but now we're gonna have to rely on dealerships.
State leaders say they will take
Oh, that's another thing too. Yeah, only the dealerships can hang electric cars at this time and moment. Nobody else. No mechanic. This guy's a good mechanic. He can't get no information to read off because he has to go to a state dealership. And you think you're gonna spend, the dealership's gonna make a ton of money off of your punk asses because they know you only gonna come to them because they're not giving out the information for regular mechanics.
Steps to increase affordability and charging access, and to address concerns that this will be especially difficult for low-income communities. They say the move is needed to fight climate change. This college student recently invested in an electric car when gas prices soared, and says filling up her tank has gone from $100 to $12.
I feel like if we can control it by something as simple as a car you drive.
How much debt she has? How much debt she has? They want to talk about that. I went from that to $12, but you just bought a, what car did she bought? You're a college student. Unless your mommy and daddy helped you.
To 12. This college student recently.
Dang it, they're blocking it. I can't tell what kind of car it is. I mean, it's an SUV. Again, and it's funny enough, you bought an SUV electric. If you really cared, my dear, why did you buy yourself a small car? You bought an SUV, electronic SUV. Y'all are such full of crap.
Recently invested in an electric car when gas prices.
Yeah, she just invested. How much money she paid for that car? How much debt can she be? Unless mommy and daddy help her, you just paid, let's say you just paid $50,000 to save the electricity, you can do $12 for now. Like I said again, it's going to get raised. It's going to get taxed crazy.
Soared, and says filling up her tank has gone from $100 to $12.
I feel like if we can control it by something as simple as a car you drive, I feel like it's a good idea.
And in the public hearing right now, lots of discussion about logistics, like how folks in apartments and in older homes can be given help so that they can charge up those electric cars at home. Rachel, if they do give their vote of approval today, it will still need to go back to the EPA, which will need to sign off on a waiver.
Well, we already know the EPA is toxic as hell too. So, hey, it's okay. So Californians here you go, people. They said California is making a charge for the future. We're going to be better. We're going to do a lot of stuff and we're not losing people. More people coming and working in manufacturing jobs and all this stuff. Okay. Let us hear from somebody who lives in California. And I know people go to California. Anderson, who's will be on the side chat most of the times, He's from California. He would tell you it's a storm over there in California. It's crappy. It's just blatantly just messy. But let's play that.
I lived my entire life in LA, so I don't take my decision to leave lightly. Will I regret it? Will I miss it? I go back and forth on these thoughts all the time as I'm dealing with the stress of having to move my entire life somewhere else. In this video, I'm going to show you all the reasons why I'm leaving California and why you shouldn't move here. I'm going to be judging California by 3 categories: cost of living, quality of life, and opportunity. Starting with cost of living. If you're anything like me, a 29-year-old millennial woman, you are obsessed with Zillow, and you are obsessed with maybe one day owning your own home. That would be nice. Because I grew
Remember, but they don't want you to own your own home.
up in California, I grew up assuming that I will never be able to afford a home, period. Partly because of all the articles I read while in college that brainwashed me into believing this. Until I realized the people writing these articles were also young, broke millennials who wanted to live in one of the most expensive cities in the country. That assumption was false then, but unfortunately it's become pretty true recently because of inflation. Even if you live an hour away from city center, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house is most
Good grief. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 14 square feet, $1.25 million. 3 hours away from y'all can kiss my butt. Ain't no hell no. Hell no. Townhouses. No.
around $700,000 or more. The only way a young person is going to afford buying property in California is if you're willing to live pretty much in the middle of
I know it's still small ass houses, but 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 12 square feet. Yeah, I get that. I could go with that. I could go with that. 300 square foot for the one up there. 3 bedrooms, 3 baths. 275 square foot. Yeah, Bakersfield, California. That's far away from everything. Excuse me. But that's more my kind of more my thing.
Nowhere, or you somehow strike it rich in big tech or Hollywood. This basically handicaps all young people because buying property is typically the first step to building wealth for a lot of people. So in order to live in California, you have to be basically one of 3 things. You were born here, you are rich, or you're willing to live paycheck to paycheck on what would be considered a pretty decent job anywhere else in the country.
That's true.
So because you can't afford a house, you're probably going to get yourself a 1-bedroom apartment, right? After the pandemic, that typically costs anywhere between $1,700 to $1,800 a month.
What the fuck? $1,800 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment? Are you up? Ho. No. HOW hockey sticks, no. That is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. I feel so bad for you kids.
Wow, what a waste. The poor children.
Utilities will cost you anywhere between $200 to $600 a month, depending on the city. Groceries for a small family is probably going to cost anywhere between $500 to $600 or more dollars per month, depending because inflation has made food practically double in price in the past few months. So, in my opinion, you basically have to be making
You are. You be making a lot. Like her thing is not bad of a statement.
$2,400 a month to be living a pretty average lifestyle in LA. That's about $60,000 a year. How many young people are making?
I'm making a little above that, and I'm not there. And I live me a nice little life up in this space. I'm not living in a 1-bedroom apartment either.
That much money straight
I'm living in a 5-bedroom house.
out of college. Out of all of my millennial friends who are basically in their 30s at this point, very few of them are actually making this much. And I haven't even talked about the cost of gas and the price of owning a car, because you have to own a car in LA. Everything is very spread out, and it's the only way to get across town.
No. You gotta catch a bus. Go on the bus. Be on the bus. Don't worry about nothing. Just catch the bus. Get yourself. Go spend a lot of money on electric cars, my dear. Even though you're in a 1-bedroom apartment that they can't put you. You don't have a garage. You can't charge it, and you gotta spend the money. Yeah, Come on.
Transportation is a nightmare. Gas is going to be an expensive weekly cost, and it's only going to go up because for whatever reason, the people here keep voting for the gas tax to increase every single year because our government tricks them into thinking that all that money is going to go to fixing the roads and towards green energy. Except our roads aren't fixed, and our green energy, I don't even know if it exists.
That's what it is.
Beautiful, lovely taxes.
Thanks for taking my money, asshole.
That's the government for you. You're correct. Yeah, I don't even know if it exists.
You get rolling blackouts every single year, and insurance for your car is going to cost close to $2,000. On top of all of that, California has some of the highest state income tax in all of the country. I actually think it's the highest, and they're considering doubling the state income
tax. This is so stupid.
Income tax. That hurts my soul because when I was working at Disney, I was basically paying $25,000 to $35,000 a year in
What the fuck? Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
doubling the state income tax. That hurts my soul because when I was working at Disney, I was basically paying $25,000
to $30,000 in taxes per year. Good God.
To $35,000 a year in income tax. That's a whole person's salary.
That is.
Doubling that makes it so why would I even want to work? Why would anybody want to work?
Exactly.
At that point?
Why would I work? I'm basically working for the government. Hell no, I'm out of that state. Well, I never want to be in that state.
For what? And if you're young, you might think what I used to think when I was young and naive.
That taxes aren't all bad because we need them in order to help people that need help, to fund green energy, to do things we normally wouldn't have the money for.
But let me tell you, young viewer, as I got older and slightly wiser, not by much, enough, I felt lied to, especially by the Californian government. We were promised a lot of things, like our water scarcity to be fixed, like
oh, we'll get to that.
A fast bullet train, like the ones they have in Asia, to bring us from LA to San Francisco.
There's really no bullet trains in the world that is profitable. They fed you a crock of garbage.
In a few hours, we were promised our roads to be fixed and the homeless to be helped. None of that ever happened. And yet a third of my income just went poof into thin air. And what?
Wait, so you were working at Disney, so 30,000. So you were making $90,000, and $30,000 of it went towards nah, sorry.
What I learned in my 20s are that people are incompetent, and the government.
Hallelujah! That's what I always be saying. Thank you, my dear. People are incompetent. That's why I say people are stupid, individuals smart. Be that smart individual, and the government is full of stupid people.
Government are full of incompetent people who think they know how to handle your money better than you do. And now,
that's why they want to say, oh, you should not own a car, you should not own a house.
For quality of life. And you might be thinking, well, you pay all that money to live in beautiful weather, in a beautiful state where you can just drive to the beach and lay in the sand all day. Except the good weather is basically the only thing California has going for it in terms of quality of life because of homelessness and crime and annual forest fires. The homelessness situation is out of control. I'm seeing homeless encampments in the suburban enclaves that typically just don't have that problem. Theft is so common that people will tell you not to leave anything valuable in your car because it's gonna get broken into. I would definitely advise not to go outside at night in certain areas unless you want to be one of the myriad of people that have had very, very awful things happen to them because they're not from here and they do that because why? For example, as someone who's familiar with the USC area, don't go outside at night. And even if you have a lot of money, you're still going to be living right next to homeless encampments. Why people in animation still choose to live here, I have no clue. There's also a really big possibility the big one will hit. And the big one is basically the giant earthquake that is going to come one day and take us all out. The food in LA used to be really good, but something about the pandemic and maybe inflation has really sucked the life and soul out of people so they don't want to work anymore. And you just might get food poisoning. And when you eat out, it's going to cost at least $15 to $20 per person for something like a simple burger or something. For that much money, I should be getting better quality food, not worse than before. The thing is, if if you're a Californian like me, you probably didn't notice it getting that bad. The only reason why I did is because I went traveling to places like Texas and Arizona, where the food is like twice, 3 times as good for like half the cost. For activities, other than going to bars, it's very not fun to be going to anything like a music event, a sporting event, a gallery show, because the wait times are gonna be crazy. It's gonna be really, really, really expensive. Just to go to the beach now costs $20 just for parking these days. Bars are the
Just to go to the beach.
exception, because everyone just wants to drown their sorrows. But you're gonna be paying at least $100 if you want to get lit, because the drinks are weak as fuck. And the traffic just to get to some of these places is gonna be ridiculous. You're going to be spending more time in traffic than actually enjoying your life in California. And let's talk about the people. I watched a bunch of these leaving California videos, and I've seen a lot of people talk about how fake and self-absorbed a lot of people.
I gotta say something. Again, if they're gonna get rid of electric, right? Say we got a couple people who didn't charge the car fully or they didn't get that stuff. What they're gonna do when the car, has no energy on the street? Again, I could get gas and pour it in a tank, which will take 5 minutes, and my car could go hundreds of miles. You're telling me we're gonna get battery trucks that's gonna sit there and charge it for 30 minutes till you get a couple miles to get to a charger? You're gonna cause more traffic. Just saying.
Here in California are. But that's typically being said by people who aren't from here like I am. I think Californians are actually one of the realest, most down-to-earth people I have ever met. Partly because they do have to live right next to Hollywood. Some people who call themselves Californians are actually transplants who work in Hollywood. Those are some of the most narcissistic psychos I have ever met in my entire life. And they come here from all over the country. But unfortunately for me, many of my friends who are normal have moved away or have lives of their own now, so I don't actually see them all that much on a daily basis. And because most of the other people here are transplants, there's no real sense of community. I thought I had one when I was working in Hollywood, but these Hollywood types are only friends with you when it benefits them.
Ooh. Really? How dare they do that? That's what people do, including these fake people, as you said.
Friends are going to disappear. Just look at any Hollywood celebrity that has recently been canceled. Where are their friends? Most of the people I interact with on the day-to-day are strangers, and the mental health of most people here isn't that great. People are angry, anxious, cranky, and prone to yelling at you for no apparent reason.
Oh, hits you, beats you, does horrible stuff like that Olympic runner, that black Olympic runner who got hit in the head with a bolt by a crazy dude who should be in freaking jail. But I digress.
For example, I've noticed a huge uptick in drunk drivers during the past 2 years. Every single time I come back from visiting another state, I'm a whole new person. And I just slowly see myself revert back to your typical angry Californian that has no time to deal with any of your bullshit. I just don't like the person I'm becoming just by being here. My friends and family were the last thing keeping me tied down to California, and even that is gone. Now for opportunity. It's kind of the reason why people move to LA. You see it in movies. The young aspiring actress moves to LA and then gets discovered by a big Hollywood producer. What it's really like is you move here, you get a job in Target trying to make ends meet, and you wait around until someone finally notices you, but that day never really comes. And maybe one day you finally do make it, except you turn into an awful human being that treats other people like shit because you were treated like shit. Or you never make it, but your pride is too hurt to go back home with your tail between your legs, so you just bum it in LA for as long as you can. And I've talked to so many Hollywood hopefuls that don't understand that Hollywood doesn't even pay that much compared to the cost of living that you have to have a halfway decent life here. When it's pretty difficult to get even an entry-level job in Hollywood, how much are you willing to put up with just to live paycheck to paycheck? And the saddest part, some people don't even understand that you don't even really get the status of being associated with Hollywood anymore, because people are more impressed if you're a social media influencer in 2022 than saying that you were some PA for some TV show. And if it's wanting to work in a creative field that you're after, you can do that anywhere now with the invention of the internet. You can make your own creative project and make it wildly successful without having to bend over backwards, sell your soul to a bunch of industry gatekeepers that will chew you up, spit you out when you are no longer useful to them.
I think that I hit the home on that one as much as I can. So there you go. This is California. This is what people. This is the leading line of America. Oh hell! If this is the leading line, we got problems. We have real flipping problems. That's all I can tell you on that. But I want to talk about another thing right here. So they don't want you to own your cars. And she just gave you all those reasons, like I said too, because again, the Black Plague is in San Francisco because again, they don't clean. They gotta clean the street for all the needles, all the bums, all the homeless people. Who again, the homeless people could attack you. They're insane. That's the crazy part. But it could still hit you across your head, bash you across the head, throw you in front of a bus. You get hit and get killed. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But wait. Here's why I said they don't care. All right. So let me go to this lovely little video. This video that I've used multiple times before. And I want to I want to put up a. Give me 1 second here. You seen it here, but I want to put up a kind of, let me see here, something on the screen, and we'll get back to it. Don't get me wrong. Just dial for me for a second. Oh, where's this nonsense? Nope. Here. Where is the Okay. Let me see if I can bring it on the screen here, because that's what I need to do. Sorry for those who are listening to audio part. I just gotta. I have it. I just try to put it on the screen, so we could talk about it when the time comes. Come on now. There we go. That should be it. Alrighty. We're gonna go through this article. But first, let me put up the preference video first. Let's do that. Because this part needs to be talked about.
New state law shooting until you're 21, that is. If these new California laws just aren't progressive enough, now comes the grand finale. Californians may not be allowed to shower and do a load of laundry in the same day.
This one, I'm not sure how I feel about this. You're not going to be allowed to shower and do a load of laundry in the same day.
I had the same misgivings. Doing a load of laundry takes about 40 to 50 gallons of water. Taking a shower for about 8 minutes takes about 17 gallons of water. Well, there's a limitation on your daily use of water of 55 gallons per day. So that means if you are taking a shower and if doing a load of laundry, you can't do both without being in violation of the law.
Or else they could face charges of up to $1,000 a day. Or if it's during a drought period, $10,000 a day.
Remember that. Remember that, because we're going to put a pin in that, because we're going to get back to that.
If 55 didn't seem low enough, California is going to incrementally decrease your gallons allotment every year. The water allowance per person will decrease to 50 gallons a day by 2030. So when you're walking down the streets of LA and you happen to step in a large pile of human excrement because the outrageous homeless crisis that's being neglected by these Democrat politicians, when you get home, unfortunately, you're going to have to decide whether you wash your shit-covered shoes and socks and pants in the laundry machine or whether you shower your body.
A transient with schizophrenia and psychotic disorders dumped feces all over her.
A bucket of his diarrhea. It was liquid, hot liquid. I was soaked.
and I couldn't see. It was coming off of my eyelashes into my eyes.
Paramedics rushed her to the hospital, and she now needs to be tested for infectious diseases every 3 months.
But hey, we all want to live in a Democrat shitopia.
Now an effort to get ahead of the complaints. A poop patrol. That's right, the Department of Public Works will try to spot the mess before you do and steam clean it away.
It's a great idea. Could we get rid of the poopers as well?
Many diseases
You think?
already began to be eradicated before the introduction of vaccines. Why? Because of the implementation of hygiene and sanitation. So now that Californians are going to be limited to their showering and hygiene because of water usage restrictions, what happens when you have a large influx of illegal immigrants because it's now a sanctuary city mixed with a booming and out of control homeless crisis in LA and many other large cities with shit all over the floor? This is a recipe for a pandemic that will start in California and spread to the rest of the United States.
And that's why I have a problem with that situation. Now, remember what she said. Remember what I said. If it's a drought, you're going to spend $10,000 a day, right? That's what they said. Here you go. A drought conditions, $10,000 a day for a day in which a violation occurs. Okay. Here we go again. This is why I do not like Hollywood. This is why I don't care. I have to separate my actress from actress. You could be a good actor or actress, a good comedian, but your policy, but you are a horrible human being. You're a horrible human being, like a Whoopi Goldberg and all that stuff. And even Dwayne The Rock Johnson the same way too. Here's why I say this. Let's go to the article I was talking about. Let's read the article. Kim Kardashian, Kevin Hart, Sylvester Stallone are accused of massive waste of water.
Nani?
Really? But let's see. Do we have also Dwayne Johnson here? Ah, yeah. Save the planet. This is why I talk about the elites part. You do, yeah. Save the planet. We're going to save the world, but we're going to still do what we're going to do. Let's look into this. Let's look into this article, shall we? So, we have some of the Los Angeles famous celebrities are getting put on blast for being outed as excessive water users amidst a severe drought emergency throughout California. Kim Kardashian and her sister Khloe are among South California's worst offenders. Mike Nutt, spokesman of the Las Vegas Municipal Water District, told NPR. The pair have received multiple notice because they don't give a crap from the district, with severe water. Again, they could. I'm in my pool. How dare you think that my pool should not have enough water? My grass should not be green. My hot tub should not be with hot water. Are you crazy? That should not happen to me. But we should save the water just in case anything. And trust me, one of those persons I guarantee you is Gavin Newsom. Comedian Kevin Hart, former NBA Dwayne Wade, and his wife, actress Gavin Newsom.
Loser.
Sylvester Stallone have also continued to exceed district limits despite multiple warnings and fines. So if they have multiple warnings and fines and they think, what the hell? Why don't you the regular people? You say you're gonna cut off their water. You ain't cut off these sons' water. The department could install flow restriction devices that could reduce gushing showers to mere trickles. And don't you ever come in my house and do that crap. And the world would almost certainly turn a rolling lawn surrounding their prospective mansions brown. Well, why don't you do it? Violations were first reported in Los Angeles LA Times on Tuesday, not confirming data, adding that in all, more than 116,000 residents are breaking the rules. Well, imagine that. Oh, no. They're breaking the rules. Really? The Kardashians have flaunted their official water allowance over 150%, more than several months since the water conservation effect were implemented at the end of last year. Yeah, here's what they're giving to you people. Middle fingers, because they don't care. By the utility count said, Kim Kardashian, two adjoining lots in the Hidden Hills guzzle their June amount, and they sometimes going to about 232 gallons. Really? Wow. Her sister Courtney, who lives in Cabazas, drained another 101 gallons in excess combined. This is the amount that will fill up a Olympic-sized pool. Dwayne Wade and his wife Gavin Union appear to have begun making some progress in reading their water usage on their property in the month of June, going over by 90,000 gallons. But their May bill is staggering. They use an extra 489 gallons of water that month during the swimming pool malfunction. The couple sent the statement to the Times.
Motherfucker. That don't make no goddamn sense.
Meanwhile, Representative Style Sloan and his model wife, well, ex-model wife, as we found out, Times, wow, in June they used 230,000 excess of gallons of water. So let me get this straight. You're supposed to only use 55 gallons, but these, wow. Let me see something. I gotta see something here. Let's do a little math here. I'm doing it behind the scenes. Okay, so 55 gallons a day. If you go to a month, which is 30 days, it will come 1,650. That's what you're allowed to a month, and they're going multiples over. Kevin Hart, of course, 26-acre Calabasas property, got more than 170,000 gallons of water budgeted for his parcels. Again, the celebrities don't care. Oh no, really? I'm shocked that these people don't care because you're not worth nothing. Flipping hell. So if they should be paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines, are they doing it? No, because they don't care. We said they are.
You piece of loser.
Okay. All right. Well, with that said, let's just finish up with one more thing here and call it a night, if you guys don't mind. Which is basically John Stossel. Stossel man.
Trust the science.
The superheroes, the scientists.
I'm tired of hearing that.
You ain't the only one.
Trust the science! Trust the science!
Today, fewer Americans say they trust science.
They don't trust science because science is increasingly untrustworthy.
Yeah, because they're politically run with money now.
Science writer Andrew Follett has analyzed research for NASA and the Energy Department.
The only group that trusts science right now is Democrats.
I trust the scientists.
Maybe.
You mean the same scientist that told you wearing that mask was idiotic? No, whatever.
That's because much government science is being misused by politicians.
Exactly.
For example, some activists want to limit ocean fishing with something they call the Climate Solutions Act. It calls climate change the greatest threat to American national security and promises equitable solutions to...
Oh my goodness, I hate that word with a passion. And again, the biggest thing to our national security debt is not that. It's illegals. It's basically our blooming debt. The debt is the most number one thing because it's out of control.
Every special group of victims. The administration's deputy director of climate told Congress that the bill will bring
exciting, urgently needed progress on climate change.
Oh, you gonna be here? You gonna listen to this BS?
Lubchenco cited this paper that made the remarkable claim that closing more of the ocean to fishing can increase catches of fish.
Motherfucker. That don't even make no goddamn sense.
What?
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
So not fishing increases more catches by 20% than how you catch the fish. What the?
I saw oceans of opportunity.
But oops, the paper was retracted.
I wonder why.
One scientist called its logic biologically impossible.
That's what I just thought.
And it turned out the paper was written by Lubchenco's brother-in-law.
Am I surprised by this? They don't care. They just want the money.
You piece of loser.
It's getting somebody to unlock the door on the inside and let you in, as opposed to breaking in.
Okay, fair enough. That's interesting.
Yep.
Wow, but yeah, and the other thing, so you're the sort of person that has this power and you don't want to use it to mess with the election?
I want money.
You threw out a tweet from Donald Trump on election day?
That won't get me money.
Early in the morning?
But I want money.
That's true. It wouldn't get you money, but man, you could have an effect on the election.
I don't want an effect. I want money.
But she never told Congress that, or that she edited the paper.
It's an egregious violation.
Her goal is to get the government to spend more on environmental regulation.
And make her family rich.
And the party in power likes that. So they don't care if she just breaks the rules.
Why would they care? They're getting rich too.
They could not care less. Her job from their perspective is to generate papers that rationalize and justify the regulations they want to impose.
The White House never punished Lubchenco for her ethics violation.
Again, am I shocked by this?
In fact, after her testimony, she was appointed co-head of President Biden's Scientific Integrity Task Force.
What the fuck?
Only in the government you fail up. You don't fail down. You don't lose your job. You fail up. Only in the government.
We need to have scientific integrity.
Now, the National Academy of Sciences has banned her for her improper conduct. Yet she's still head of scientific integrity for the White House.
The irony of this is just crazy.
Today's bad government science goes well beyond a few bad actors. A lot of what's called science today is just left-wing advocacy.
Yep.
New fields like fat studies, African studies, Latinx studies, queer studies. These fields are essentially entirely fake.
Fake? Well, some of it's clearly fake because specialists in these fields keep being fooled by people who submit gibberish. This ridiculous paper, Embracing Fatness as Self-Care in the Era of Trump, was accepted by this university's Fat Studies Conference. It was written by this person.
Hello, I am C. Matheson.
The conference invited C. Matheson, who is actually comedian Steven Crowder, to speak via Zoom. Crowder disguised himself as a woman and did.
You may believe, wrongly as many people do, that fat is a threat to your life.
His speech was absurd.
Every scoop of Ben & Jerry's should be seen as an act of resistance.
But attendees gave him rave reviews. What a talk. They praised his presentation of Donald Trump's fat phobia and said this could be part of how we fight rape culture.
Oh, no. These people are mentally ill.
After the conference, the head of the Journal of Body Weight and Society even asked C. Matheson to review a scientific paper.
Let me remind Becca. I could tell she's not a slim person, so you might be right.
Even asked C. Matheson to review a scientific paper. Crowder's just the latest person to pull off a hoax like that.
I have now closely considered the revisions of your manuscript, Dog Park.
These researchers fooled the journal Gender, Place, and Culture with a ludicrous paper on rape culture at dog parks.
And will recommend its publication in Gender, Place, and Culture.
In all, 7 so-called scientific journals accepted their ridiculous submissions. Follett blames this perversion of science on the government.
The government wants to generate that kind of nonsense.
Now, the government doesn't want nonsense studies, but its science agencies, like much of America, have been taken over by leftists who want to promote their agenda and themselves. And in science, you promote yourself by getting papers published.
Important papers can advance careers, generate media interest, and secure essential funding.
And government provides most of that funding.
Nobody wants to publish something that goes against what the paymaster says.
You don't get the tenure track position unless you get published. And you don't get published unless...
You don't get published unless the NSF likes your results.
Or the NIH, or the CDC. That's how bad science gets published.
There was this paper, well funded by the National Science Foundation. It said that glacier science is sexist.
Because the
Holy Jesus.
What the fuck?
Glaciers. Oh my goodness. Glaciers are sexist now. You people are nut jobs.
the majority of glaciological knowledge that we have today stems from knowledge created by men about men.
Our National Science Foundation gave her research team almost $500,000.
It's our tax money paying for it.
Yep.
I'm ticked off.
They're giving it out specifically to promote their agenda.
Wrong as this is, I don't think most Americans know or care that people in government now use your money to promote progressive nonsense.
Oh, I care. I care.
I mean, I think we'll all start caring when the bridges start falling down and the planes start crashing. That's the inevitable end result of this.
Yeah, that is true. That is definitely true. Oh my goodness. This is the craziest that we're putting up with. This is why you got to be careful of all this stuff, and that's why I always say my phrase at the end of the show. Remember, the elitists, the ones who say, oh, I'm doing this for the poor people, whatever. They're the ones who will not suffice to none of the stuff they propose, and they want you to not own your house. They don't want you to own your car. They want you to not get water. They want you to buy expensive things that they know that you cannot afford, but they're saying, well, I'm doing this for you because, yeah, so we could, but they are the ones who are in the companies, because again, remember the Inflation Deficit Act, there was no point in there to talk about inflation, one, and two, the Democrats are saying, oh, we are, like right now they say, well, Biden's coming off of great victories. What victories? Inflation is still high. Gas has come down a little, but it's still higher than it was under Trump. Sorry, but that's the truth. And like I said, the bill they're trying to pass with the debt thing, to cancel the debt, that's going to cause more inflation. And don't let them tell you, oh, 500,000 people got jobs. 500,000 people got jobs last month. Or 530, to be honest. But 4.3 million quit their jobs. Again, 4.3, 500,000. You catch where I'm coming from. And California, as crazy as it is, trying to think that what they're doing is going to help save the world. No. Or save America. No, they're not. That's why you saw that I let that lady talk, because I wanted you to see from a woman of 29 years old to tell you what the hell is going on in that crazy ass state. That state is crazy as hell. So, I'm telling y'all, just again, watch the evil, because again, evil comes in all shapes, size, color, creed, height, sex, nationality. Geniuses, as you just saw, idiotic people, stupid people. Evil's evil. They don't care. And they want you to own. I guarantee, if they have the power, they will want you to rent air so you could breathe. That's a choice that will come with you. Trust me. But again, like I said before, pixie and fairy dust. Pixie and fairy dust. That's what they want. That's what they want to tell you guys of that. And that's not good. at all. Ooh. And I want to thank everybody coming through all. There's a lot of people coming through here. 69,220 and 69,246. My bad. Thank you. We'll be talking about some of this stuff tomorrow in the side chat. Hope you guys can join us in the side chat on that, because I see a lot of people in the chat, and I got you. I got you. I know what it is. Honestly, Pierre Anton from France. Honestly, I believe if they try to take any homes, cars, or whatever, people will rise up. Well, we didn't rise up for the pandemic, Pierre. What is the purpose of working or living if you have no rewards to own your own vehicle in your own home? Again, that's true, but people, let's see if the people would rise up, because again, with the pandemic, we follow them like lemons with everything they said they wanted to do. So we'll see. We'll see. That said, again, remember, catch us again tomorrow for the side chat. Hope you guys will have a good Friday. If you are not part of the regular crew, to be a part of the side chat, but we'll talk about that again. And also check out some parts over on YouTube where you can get a lot of the backlogs, a lot of the backlogs of the videos and stuff to watch. You catch up if you're due to subscribe, share. That's all it is. Remember, people are stupid, individuals are smart. Be that smart individual. All right. Have a good night. Take care of your family, and we'll catch you tomorrow or next Thursday. Peace out.
Bye. Have a great Friday, you mother.